And just give me a thumbs up so I know that you can hear me. Okay, good. We are going to use a block and a strap to start off with. I want to do a psoas release for you guys. It's using the props. You know, this is a prop heavy class, and we all need a little bit of release. So that's how we're going to start off today. So I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to need the strap and the block. And actually, we might have done this one other time. Now that I think about it, we're going to do it again. So you're going to take the strap and loop it. Actually, you got to put it around your legs first. It doesn't matter. Just as long as it's around the legs, you can loop it before or after. And I was smart and brought my, left my cork block behind and brought my other one. But the block is going to go between the thighs to keep the legs hip width apart. Feet are going to be hip width apart. So you're going to lie down. And then tighten the strap as much as you can. If you need to separate your feet a little bit, so the point here is that you want to not be using any muscles. You're not actively using any muscles. This should feel restorative. And the longer we sit here, the more deeply the psoas can release. So you can have your hands on your belly just to kind of pay attention to your breath, or you can have them off to the side. You can decide. I like to talk a lot in, you know, this time of year where we're transitioning into a new season. This is the time where we get those injuries, emotional, physical. So even if it's not a seasonal transition, sometimes there's a new life transition that is happening for us. So I like to kind of bring our awareness to those things. So I have this quote that I want to read to you by Marcel Proust. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. As we wade through the challenges, the opportunities, the joys, and the sorrows of our everyday lives, we must also honor our need to look upon our lives with new eyes and new perspective. And the opportunity is always there, whether it's a morning spent in silence, an evening at a yoga class, an hour of quiet prayer in an empty church, an afternoon of meditation, or a weekend retreat. We rediscover, re-experience the truth of our lives and the roles we want to play with them. So we're always going. When we're able to pause, we can see things with new eyes. Even on our mat, whether it's doing a pose in a different way, with or without a prop, you know, I mean, how many times have you lied down on your back and now you're doing it with a block and a strap? Just giving new perspective if we're able to be still. As you keep breathing here, bring your full awareness to the hip joints and the muscles that are around the hips. Even if you don't know what the psoas looks like, kind of imagine this muscle from around the hip joints up, attaching to the upper torso of the body. And consciously bring a softness to that area and a release. And we've talked about the psoas before, the muscle that, you know, puts us in the fetal position. It's a big muscle, keeps our top and bottom half of our bodies together, but it is affected each time we are in fear, anxiety, stress. We just want to take a few moments to give it permission to release. Maybe feel the femur heads dropping deeper into the hip sockets towards the floor. Let's take 3 more breaths here, breathing deeply into the belly and then into the chest. And then exhaling completely. And before we begin to come out of this, let's see if we can see our practice today with a new set of eyes, with a new perspective. Just remember what your goal was when you came to the mat. It could just be as simple as just no expectations. Like you said, Coley, just being grateful that you're here, that break, that stillness. Go ahead and start to loosen the strap with your hands. And then you can remove the block and lie on your right side. And then press up slowly. Good. Are we connected? We're connected to our psoas at least, right? All right, let's go ahead and bring the feet to the left. We're gonna bring the top of the right foot on top of the left thigh if possible. The closer you can get it into that hip crease, the better. If that's not gonna happen today, just keep the straddle stretch and we'll do that. If your foot is on top of the thigh, see if you can reach your right hand behind and grab the toe. And if that's not working yet, just grab the strap, put it around your foot, and make your arm longer. Left hand is gonna go on the right knee. You're gonna inhale, lengthen through the spine, and then exhale, soften that right shoulder back. Look over the right shoulder. Keep the chin up, level to the ground. Feel the deep twist in the spine, the belly, and maybe even some areas of the legs too. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, come back to center. Flip the legs to the right. Left foot on top of the right thigh. Either grab the toe or use the strap. One side might and probably does work better than the other, or you could be completely even. So grab the strap with the left hand, if that's what you're using, and then the right hand on top of the left knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring that left shoulder back. And even the right shoulder is pressing back, away from the ear. Notice where you're gripping. Just do a scan from through the upper torso of the body. Notice where you're gripping and see if you can soften and come into the twist a little bit more. Usually it's around the belly, so release the tongue away from the roof of the mouth and see what that does. One more breath. Exhale and release. Let's go ahead and do our eagle legs, and we're gonna do some side stretches. So start with the right leg on the bottom, the left leg on top. We're just gonna go ahead and bring the left arm up. So inhale, bring it up. Exhale, lean to the right. Let the left sitting bone lift. We want to keep the SI joints happy. Bring the left hand down, inhale, right arm up. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale back to center, bring the right hand down, switch legs. Left leg on the bottom, right leg on top. Notice any differences in the tightness of the hips here. Right fingertips on the ground. Inhale, left arm up. Exhaling to the right. Go ahead and bring that left hand down. Inhale, right hand up. Exhale, lean. Bring the right hand down. Untwist the legs. Come to hands and knees. We're going to do hip circles, but keep the block nearby too. We're going to use that for our bird dog. So make sure the hands are pretty far ahead so we're not going over the wrists. And then just go ahead and do the big hip circles that we do. And really drop the weight off to the right and off to the left. You're almost tapping the floor with the hips. Go in both directions. And notice where your mind is, even right now in the beginning of the practice. Are you able to stay with the breath and be present? Go ahead and slow down your circles or finish up your circles. Come back to hands and knees. And I want you to take your block and place it on the lower back. Why don't you go ahead and, yeah, we'll just read the pelvis. So it's going to be like horizontal, right on top of the sacrum. So say if we are not doing our bird dog balance that we're about to come into, if we're not doing that and engaging the belly, the block will possibly fall. So that we're just going to have it read our pelvis here. So separate the knees hip width apart, and then let's just go for it. Extend the right leg, extend the left arm. Flex the foot. Right foot is flexed, toes pointing down, and you're kicking out through the heel. And extending through the fingertips. Check your right shoulder. Be sure you're pushing the floor away. You're out of the shoulder. Lift from the inner thigh of the right leg. That internal rotation is happening. Find your breath. Engage the lower belly. Nice long neck. We'll take one more breath here. As we exhale, we're bringing the knee and the elbow together. Nice and slow. Don't let that block fall. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring the knee and the elbow together. Slow, mindful movement. Hand and knee back to the mat. Take the top of the right hand and press it into the mat. So we're just going to stretch that wrist out. The more you shift your weight back, the more of a stretch you'll feel in that forearm. So your right fingertips are facing your knees. Go ahead and release. Shake the wrist out a little bit. And we'll do the other side. So go right into it. Left leg extends, flex the foot. Right arm extends, reach out through the fingertips. Engage the lower belly. Push the floor away from you. And you're looking straight down, so the neck is just an extension of the spine. Find that focus point, 2 more breaths. Exhale, bring the knee and the elbow together, nice and slow. And hey, if the block falls, like the yoga police will not come after you. It's okay. But we do have to train the brain to slow down, you know? Extend, inhale, and then exhale one more time, knee and elbow. Back to the mat, widen the knees, remove that block. Put it right below your forehead as you sit back on the heels. And we're just going to use the forehead, or use the block to rest our forehead on. This doesn't matter what you do with your arms. You can hold the block, you can extend the arms. And then why don't we roll our forehead back and forth a little bit? This helps loosen up the neck muscles. The support from the block helps release the neck muscles. Just take another breath here. And then go ahead, lift the head, come back to hands and knees, remove the block. We're gonna do our Trayang Mukha, sitting back, stretching the calf muscles. I know both of your abilities, so we're not gonna use the block under one of the sitting bones today. We're just gonna go right for it. I mean, if you need it, you can use it. But we're gonna extend the right leg first. And then the left foot will be back, touching the hip, okay? You can use your strap here. We'll focus on that today. The knees should be going in the same direction, leg bones going in the same direction. So if you're gonna use your strap, put it around the ball of the foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull the elbows back and hinge forward. If you feel you can release the strap, you know, and go all the way down to the foot, eventually the full expression is to grab the foot. I'm gonna take a few breaths here. Because of the way the leg is pulling back, it's gonna give you more rounding in the lower back. So just take your fingers for a minute. Doesn't matter which one, but just feel the spine in the lower back. If those spine bumps, if you can feel the vertebrae coming out, then I want you to back out of the pose a little bit until they're flat. And this is where we want to be. If they're already flat, then you're good. Take one more breath. Inhale, come all the way up. So the question of why do we care about that? It shows that our back is in flexion and not extension, okay? Right leg back. And the whole point of forward folds, you know, is to not round. You're gonna get a little bit of flexion, but you don't want that flexion in the lower back. Make sure your knees are near each other. Put your foot around the ball of the foot. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, fold. You decide here whether you're gonna use the strap or put your hands on either side of the leg. Keep the shoulders back. Engage the lower belly, in, up through the crown of the head. Again, take your fingers and feel what's going on. That's the lower lumbar spine, so L3, 4, 5 down there. You don't want those to be sticking out. If they are, back up just a little bit. Take two more. I'm actually recording, sir. Oh. Right there. You're standing right in front. I'm so sorry. That's okay. Take another breath here. I shouldn't say I'm recording. You can say hello to our yoga friends that are live streaming. Hi. Exhale, come all the way up. Go ahead and bring that strap off to the side. And then bring the feet behind you so you can come back to hands and knees. We're gonna come down to dolphin. So grab your block again. So last time we did this, we did all three levels of the block. We're not gonna do that again. We're just gonna do one level. So just put the block in a place where you can put your hands on either side, like we've done before, just as a guide. This is just to strengthen the shoulders and you know, work on the muscle memory for the alignment of the shoulders. So curl the toes under Line up the ears with the inner arms, hips up and back. It's almost like a tease to come into dolphin first instead of down dog because you just want to walk your feet out, you know, but it's not the same in dolphin. Take a breath here. Feel the shoulders working, the serratus muscles and the sides of the bodies, or the side of the body under the armpits. We're going to inhale, bring the nose to the block. So take a deep breath in. Exhale, nose. Again. One more time. Hold it. Take 3 breaths. Come back. Come down to your knees. Bring the big toes together and extend in child's pose. Take one more breath here. We're going to inhale, lift the head, walk the hands towards the body, come back to hands and knees. We're coming into full downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana this time. Curl the toes under. Inhale, lift the hip sockets up and back. And here we go, walking it out. Press the roots of the fingers into the mat. Be sure your wrist creases are parallel to the front of the mat. We're going to come into a lunge from here. So inhale, bring the right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, bring the right leg forward. So drop the knee first. Back knee gets dropped first. Press the front foot into the mat. Uncurl the back toes. We're going to inhale, bring the arms up. And then as we exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Okay, so like hands coming in front of the heart. But we're going to actually straighten the left arm and put the back of the palm on the outer knee. Right arm's going to come behind us, coming into a twist here. So if you're feeling balanced here, go ahead and close the eyes. It just gives you another level of fine-tuning your pose and feeling what's going on internally. Take one more breath. And then exhale, look down at your foot, bring your hands back down, curl the back toes under, lift up. Stay here for just a minute. Sink the left hip flexors forward towards the mat, dropping the hips. And then go ahead and bring that right leg back to downward facing dog. Take just a breath or two here. And then left leg up. Left leg up, take a breath. And exhale, bend the knee. Come into that lunge on the other side, drop the knee, uncurl the toes. Press all 4 corners of the left foot into the floor first. So notice if you weren't going to do that, let's say you're pressing just the outer edge of the foot and coming up that way. Notice what parts of the body are compromising or how more, unbalanced you feel. And then come back down, use the 4 corners of the foot and lift up. Just notice any difference there. Exhale, twist to the left, bring the hands down, straighten the right arm, and then left arm behind the back, coming into that twist. So you can just gaze on the ground for your focus, or you can close the eyes. Exhale, look down at the foot. Bring the hands down, curl the back toes under, and then lift the knee so you can sink the pelvis towards the floor. Even as you're doing this, kind of take notice of what your shoulders are doing. Bring them back. Still engaging the lower belly. And then back to down dog. We're gonna drop the hips left and right here. So just to kind of stretch them out. So keep the hands flat, drop the hips off to the right. I just got a bunch of cracking in my back doing that. Off to the left, cracking on this side too. It's like my own chiropractic visit. Do it a couple more times. You have to bend the knees a little bit. And then come back to down dog to lengthen through the tailbone. I'm gonna totally ask you guys how that was like for your back, because my back cracked so many times doing it. Inhale, look up, and begin to walk to the front of your mat. Separate the feet. We're gonna exhale and fold here, grabbing opposite elbows. Press the feet, release the arms, flatten the back. So you can start with fingertips on the ground or shins, and then thighs. And then inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. I want you to grab the block because we're going to do one more thing with the legs before we move on to our standing postures. The block is going to go probably on the tallest level. So put that in front of you. We're going to put the right foot, cross it over the left. Okay. And we're going to do a forward fold this way. So you're going to be able to bend the right knee a little bit if you need to, but the left leg is going to stay straight. And what that's going to do is hit the outer leg, IT band, the TFL. So go ahead and start to fold forward. Be sure that the feet are planted. Don't let them roll up. The arches of the feet need to go down as well. Bring your fingertips to the block. If you can keep both legs straight here, then go ahead and do that. If you need to slightly bend the right knee, then bend it. This is a pretty intense stretch here. See if you can go a little further and drop the head. And that's good for now. Lift up, lift the head up, bend the knees, and come back to your standing position so we can do the other side. Whoa, right? All right, left foot over right. So the foot's gonna go, like it's not gonna go too far over. It's gonna go right next to the foot. So the feet are touching. I'm gonna stand nice and tall and then start to hinge. Shoulders are coming back. Fingertips are coming down to the block. And then maybe slightly bend that left knee. If for some reason you're not tight here and you're not feeling it, the more you bend the left knee, the deeper you'll probably get into the outside of that right leg. I don't need to move my legs much here to feel it, so maybe just play around with that if you need to. Exhale and see if you can go a little further, drop the head. And then inhale, look up. Exhale, come back to your standing position. And now your legs are 6 inches longer. Uncross the feet. Come to the front of your mat. No, seriously though, whoa. Okay. We're gonna do 2 Surya Namaskar B. So let's get a little heated. Bend the knees. Fingertips pointing down, shoulders back. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step or jump back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left toes out, right foot forward to warrior 1. Inhale up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhale back, other side. Right toes out, left foot forward, inhale up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog for 5 breaths. 1. Your legs should be nice and stretched out now, so see if you can press the heels towards the mat. 2. 3. 4. 5. Inhale, look up. Get to the front of your mat. Exhale, exhale, fold. Yes, we need to fold first. Then bring the sitting bones down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, back to Tadasana. One more time for that. Bend the knees. Weight in the back of the body. Toes are straight. Take a look at your toes. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step or jump back. Come right into chaturanga. Good foundation every time. Inhale up. Exhale, take it back. Left toes out. Right foot comes forward, warrior 1. Exhale, chaturanga. Press the roots of the fingers. Inhale up. Exhale back. Right toes out, left foot forward. Inhale up. Make sure that front knee is bent. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale up, look up. And then exhale, 5 breaths here. 1. 2. Ears to the inner arms, curl the buttocks up towards the ceiling. 3. 4. 5. Inhale, look up. Get to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Drop the sitting bones. Inhale, arms up to chair. Exhale, back to Tadasana. Good. I want you to come to Tadasana. I'm going to face you guys right now so you can see what I'm doing. We are going to be balancing, moving the leg around in a couple different directions. So if you need the wall nearby, just keep that in mind. If you fall, I mean, you probably won't fall on your face, probably, so it's okay to fall too. So bring the weight to the left leg, and I want you to hug the right knee. See if you can just listen to my voice so you can keep that focus point, that drishti, somewhere on the floor. So we're hugging the right knee with both hands. Chest is lifted, foot is flexed. Bringing it out to the right. So now the left hand is on the hip. You've kind of been here before. Normally the leg is extended. We're keeping the knee bent. Try to keep the pelvis straight forward. Bring the knee back to center. And now we're coming into warrior 3. So release the knee. See if you can hold it up. Fingertips down as we extend the leg behind us. The arms and fingertips go behind us as well. So begin to tip forward. Shoulders away from the ears. Start to bend the knee and slowly bring it back up. Front of the body. And then we're doing the favorite, point the toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Shake the left leg out a little bit. Woo. All right, hug the left knee. Be sure you have that focus point. Feel your right foot too. If you're leaning too much on the outer edge of the foot, try to bring it to balance. So first we're hugging, shoulders back, chest lifted, collarbones spread. Foot is flexed. One hand out to the side, right hand is on the hip. Bring it back to center. Don't take your eyes off the prize. You can hug it with both hands again. Release, coming into warrior three. Arms are extended behind you, leg extends behind you. Navel to spine, tip forward. One more breath. As you exhale, begin to bring the knee back up, straightening the torso. Bring it back up above the pelvis, and then straighten it out. Hands on the hips. 1, point the toes. 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. All right. Come back to Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, we're going to come back to plank. Stay here for a moment. And let's talk about plank for a minute. We haven't really done a breakdown in this class for plank in a while. So let me just talk here for 20 minutes while you guys stay in plank. Just be sure with the wrist creases, the fingers are spread, you're pressing the right parts of the fingers. And the inner elbows, they don't have to completely face each other, but they should be turning in, internal rotation. Let's bring this to a side plank. Left hand, center of the mat. Tip the feet, stacking on each other. We're here, or the leg can be out front. Try to take 3 breaths here. Shoulders should be behind the wrist. Keep the hips up. Right hand comes down. Lower chaturanga. All the way to the ground. Uncurl the toes. Bring the hands to the lower ribs. We're going to lift in a good strong cobra here. So engage the glutes, press the tops of the feet into the mat. Elbows are still hugging the sides of the body. Come back in a child's pose. Big toes together. Grab the bottoms of the feet to rest for just a moment. Bring the hands back to the mat. Hands and knees. We're going to do plank, side plank on the other side. So let me just turn around here for you. So straighten the legs, come into plank. Right hand to the center of the mat. The feet are stacked. So the hips are not lifted too high either. We want to have a Tadasana. We're Tadasana. Arm is just extended. You can bring your arm up if you want. One more breath. Bring it down. Both hands, chaturanga. Right arm is a pillow. Grab the left ankle, bring the heel to the butt. Go ahead and release, other side. Go ahead and release. Grab both ankles. And just come right into it. Be sure the arms stay straight. Press the feet into the hands. So it's like the vertebrae is lengthening out of the waist one by one. Get nice and long through the crown of the head. Push a little bit higher. Coming into a deep back bend here. One more breath. Exhale, release. You can just rest on the right cheek for a moment. We're going to come up into that one more time. All right, get ready and prepare. Grab the ankles. Try to keep the knees in line with the hips to begin. On an exhale, go ahead and press the feet into the hands. Lift. And just keep fine-tuning it. Continue to bring the shoulders back. Lengthen the spine. Push the feet into the hands a little bit more. Look up just a little bit. Good. Keeping the neck in line with the spine. We're gonna let the belly rock 3 more times here. So 3 more breaths. See if you can go through that routine again. Arms, shoulders back. Lengthen the spine. Press the feet. And then exhale. Rest on the other cheek. That was great. Take another breath here to neutralize the spine and then come back to hands and knees. We're going to thread the needle here. So right hand to the center of the mat. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale it through all the way down. Stretching the left shoulder. Try to keep the knees centered. That'll probably give you a deeper stretch. Or not the knees, I'm sorry, the hips. Exhale, come back to center. Before we go on the other side, we never stretched this wrist. So bring the top of the left hand onto the mat and then shift your weight back a little bit. So instead of having your elbow pointing up to the sky, you want to have the inner elbow pointing to the right. And then go ahead and shake it out, and we'll do the other side. So bring the left palm to the center, inhale, right arm up. Exhale, slide it through. And if you, another option too is to straighten the arm. See how that feels. Pressing the fingertips of the left hand. And then exhale, come back to center. Cross the ankles, have a seat, bring the legs out in front of you. We're just gonna do one forward fold here. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Shoulders back. Use your strap if you want to. Keep the big toes together. Inhale, come all the way up. Take the top of the right foot, put it on the crease of the left leg like we did in the beginning. If that's not an option, just keep the foot to the inner thigh. We're gonna inhale and lengthen, and then exhale, fold. Shoulders back. Inhale, come all the way up, and release. Other side. So I would say too, just because this is the alignment prop class, I don't have a blanket nearby, but for the little bit of space, and I'll show you this in a minute, take the top of the left foot on top of the right thigh. So typically when we're talking about alignment, and there is definitely a line where we can get super rigid here. We want to stay away from that. We want to do what's good for your body. But sometimes when the knee is just hanging out into space, you know, that's a joint. We want to protect that joint. So a way to do that is to give it a little bed to lay on. So my block is almost too tall for this, but a blanket might be good too. It still feels supported. You can just try it to see how it feels. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come forward. It just brings more stability to the knee joint and the hip joint. Shoulders back. Always in your forward folds now, if you want to just check that lower lumbar, just to see if the vertebrae are sticking out. If they are, you want to lift the chest and probably come up a little bit. One more breath. Inhale, come all the way up and release. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. Actually, make sure you're scooting forward enough where we can lie down and do this. So, Supta Baddha Konasana. Bottoms of the feet are together, knees are hanging out to the sides. We're going to lie down like this just for a moment. And you can even bring the arms overhead. You should have a nice big curve in the lower back. One more breath here. Bring the arms down, grab the outer legs, and safely bring the knees back together. So I want to do this. Alexis, we did this on Tuesday, so I know you're gonna be really excited about it again. Bring both legs up. We're gonna do one last twist on both sides, or left and right, but the legs are gonna stay straight. So support yourself with your palms pressing into the ground. Shoulder blades are flat. If this is too much for your lower back, just bend the knees. That'll be fine too. So what we're gonna do is just exhale and bring the legs over to the right, but not all the way down to the ground. Just as far as you can, and then using the abdominal muscles to bring it back. Other side. I just conveniently have this wall here to help my feet to rest on. And come back to center. One more time, keep the feet flexed. Shoulders pressing into the ground, abdominals working. Don't move your legs with your face. Relax the muscles in the face. Come back to center. Last time. Exhale, lower. And come back. Bend the knees, hug them to the chest, rock left to right. Now your spine is flat, all the way flat on the mat. Slow down your rock, bring the feet back down. And just because we're doing that, and I know you two especially, probably the extra hiking now and the outdoor stuff, we're gonna do this supine pigeon. So bring your right ankle to the left knee. You can straighten your leg this time as you interlace the hands behind the left leg and just draw that leg closer to the body. If you prefer the bent knee, you can still keep that. Both feet are flexed. And I was noticing here just on myself, just catching what's going on. So I have my chin lifted really high. My cervical spine is bent further than it should be. So I just need to lower my chin a little bit. Want to keep the spine neutral and the neck neutral as much as possible. Bring it down. Other side, left ankle, right knee. Even before we lift the right leg, see if you can press the left knee away from you a little bit, straighten out the pelvis. Get all of that lined up. And then lift. Straighten the leg, interlace the fingers. Honestly, if the knee is bent, you're going to feel it more on the outside of the left leg. If the leg is straight, you're going to feel it more in the hamstrings. Hope you had a good workout. Thank you. Take one more breath here. Go ahead and release. Bring both feet down. Come into happy baby. So grab the bottoms of the feet, press the knees towards the floor, and rock one last time. I mean, you rock all the time, but rock on the back one last time. Go ahead and close the knees back together, drop the feet. This is where we stretch and roll the ankles and the wrists. And take a yawn. And get ready for Shavasana. Begin to take your own deep breaths. And each time you exhale, feel the bones begin to settle to the back of the body. And just observe any sensations that are happening right now. Where you're feeling space, where you're feeling tightness, unevenness, length, all of those things, just to observe the body during your corpse pose, which is what it is meant for. So we call this something different than meditation or sleep. This is the pose where we let the old parts of ourselves die so we can be born again in every single ending of a yoga class. And if your mind wanders, return to the breath as an anchor.